Hey, what's going on, everybody? So for this video, I wanted to talk about the Bengals, address my thoughts about the organization as a whole, as well as sort of break down the short-term as well as long-term hopes, thoughts, and expectations. For those of you who have been living under a rock, things have changed. This is not the same Bengals team from a week ago. This time last week, we still had Super Bowl expectations. We still had high hopes. That all came crashing down on Thursday. And now we sit with a 5-5 record with a serious uphill climb, no franchise quarterback, and a lot of question marks going forward. And sort of looking at the short term, the Bengals have the Steelers on Sunday, 2 more games against them, Minnesota, Indy, at Kansas City, at Jacksonville, and home to Cleveland. So very tough schedule. And even with a completely healthy squad and a franchise quarterback, it was always going to be an uphill battle no matter what. And quite honestly, this season felt doomed from the start. It really started in training camp with Burrow's calf injury. And of course, they rallied to win 4 in a row. Big wins over Buffalo and San Francisco. But even then, you looked at the schedule, you looked at the state of the conference, the state of the division, and it was always going to be a challenge for this team. And quite frankly, the defense is not nearly as good this year as it has been. They really missed Von Bell and Jesse Bates on the back half of that secondary. So this team, while it still had a lot of the Super Bowl pieces, there were chinks in the armor, so to speak. And so it was always going to be difficult for this team in the spot that they were in. And they still have talented players on the roster, lots of them. So I'm not ready to talk about tanking for the rest of the year. I do believe, and I'm not just saying this, I do believe that the Bengals can get the last playoff spot. Obviously, a lot of things need to go right. And obviously, we don't truly know what we have with Jake Browning. He did decent Thursday night. He will have a week and a half of full first-team reps. So it remains to be seen how he's going to fare. He's going to have plenty of talent around him, so he will have a good support. And kind of moving away from the players and talking about the coaching staff, I believe this should be Brian Callahan's last year, as well as Frank Pollock's. And if I'm Zach Taylor, seat's not warm yet, but some of this definitely falls on him because when you're the head coach and things kind of go in this direction, you know, he's got to take a look in the mirror as well. As I mentioned, I do believe that they can push for the playoffs, but long term, this team has a lot of big decisions to make this offseason. And quite frankly, they're going to have a lot of holes. And they're going to need O-line help, receiving help, running back help, maybe defensive line help, because other than Trey Hendrickson, who else is going after the quarterback? So there are definitely a lot of pieces and issues that they need to address going forward into next year. The draft and free agency will be absolutely critical for them. Now, anytime you have a quarterback of Joe Burrow's caliber, assuming he's healthy, you're always sort of going to be in that Super Bowl window. So he's a Band-Aid that can cover a lot of problems, but not all of them. And so I think what we're going to see here over this last stretch of games is what kind of team are the Bengals without Joe Burrow? How can the coaching staff adjust? How can the other players kind of buy in and be on board with, you know, moving forward for the rest of the season? So still a lot to watch for. Even though the Super Bowl window is closed, there's no shortage of things to pay attention to follow, players, storylines, things of that nature. So, yeah. This is not a conversation I really wanted to have, but it's the reality of the situation, and you kind of got to go with it. We've had about a week now to adjust to the new reality of this team, and you know it is what it is. It stinks, but football is not designed to be fair. It's you know I just hope at this point that Burrow is able to come back and just go back to being himself, and you know, I still believe he's a special talent. He said a lot of weird things happen to him. So anyway, yeah, I just want to come in here and share some of my thoughts about the short-term and long-term diagnosis prognostication of this organization. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or anything, feel free to leave them. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.